Hey you guys, Dev here at WeBuyHouses.com and welcome to the Cash Offer Masterclass episode number 51. You know, I almost didn't make the episode today because we just did episode 50 yesterday and it's a banger of an episode with my friend Joel Beal. We lay down some extreme facts and then looked at a house that was an awesome deal. So, hey, that's kind of hard to follow up a video like that. But I did find a deal today that was so wacky, so weird, so strange. The numbers just don't make sense to me that we have to look at this. This is what we do here on the Cash Offer Masterclass. We look at opportunities to buy houses and figure out what the numbers are. Does it make sense? Could this be a deal? Well, today I've got this one that's so overgrown, as you see in the photo. I can barely see the house, but this is the picture of it. And that's what we're going to see until we jump in there and get a little closer to it. This house is in Gatesville, Texas. It came to us through Fazio Real Estate Solutions. Guys, I don't have a relationship with Fazio. They just send me houses. But if you are interested in the property that we're going to look at today, reach out to Jade Vaughn at 214-646-9646 and tell her you came from the Cash Offer Masterclass. That would be nice. They keep sending me more deals. I think they know that I'm looking at I'm using their emails for content because now I'm getting like every Fazio deal everywhere. But you know, that's awesome. I love these guys. And as you would have seen in the video yesterday with Joel, we just came to appreciate so much, you know, what these wholesalers, Bluebonnet and Fazio, do as far as the way they provide information to us that allows us to consume this content, look at these houses, figure out if it is a deal so that we can develop that skill set for you. Guys, it doesn't matter where you are in the United States, the methods that we're teaching, although we're looking mostly at houses in Texas where we know the real estate, these methods work wherever you are. And so it's the same methodology regardless of whether you're here or in Tulsa or Phoenix or Las Vegas or wherever you might be, Boston, Massachusetts. So, hey guys, let's jump into this one because I have a feeling this is going to be a little bit weird. And here's why I have the feeling. As they show us the house there, this is what they're saying. 197 ARV, 37,500 for the asking price for this beautiful property in Gatesville, Texas. And check this out. Of the big five, do your due diligence. Do your due diligence. I've never seen this where virtually all of the big five things they're saying, do your due diligence. So which makes me think we're going to look at a wacky house here. Come on, y'all. It's got to be wacky. This is like if it was still Halloween, this might be our Halloween house, right? So it needs some serious due diligence. Where is this house? It's in Gatesville, Texas. Now, if I pull back, way back, here's the Dallas-Fort Worth area. There is Waco, and there is Gatesville. Gatesville is on that 84 route to the west of Waco. Again, I've told you guys, I think this is a really nice area. And I'll tell you, in Waco, your number one area to be in is this Woodway. Woodway is the hot spot. McGregor's okay, been out there. I think I've been to China Spring, maybe Valley Mills. Been out here. So a lot of little, nice little communities. This house is way out here in Gatesville. And if we zoom in, I did find a Dollar General. It's kind of hard to find it again. Oh, there's a Walmart. Hey, we got a Walmart. We got a car place. We got a Sonic. We have the El Tapatio restaurant. And yeah, it's just Gatesville is a normal place. It even has some hotels. So evidently somebody wants to go to Gatesville and stay there like overnight. Okay, so they have the Gatesville Inn. if you want to do that. All right, so that's where Gatesville is. Let's jump into this. I'm dying to see what the condition is of a home that's being offered for $37,500 and has everything saying do your due diligence. This has got to be a wacky ride, my friends. All right, if we jump into it, let's first remember our formula is number one, what's the after repaired value? If it was in perfect condition, what could we sell it for? Number two, we estimate the repairs. Number three, we compute the cash offer based upon after repaired value and the repairs that are needed. And that's how our formula works. So step one is to look at the after repaired value. And they're saying $197,500. Now, as you've seen, we go and we use about four public sites to determine what we think the after repaired value might be. Zillow has it at $123,700, and if we look at their price history, this would be about the highest point. They said 131 at some point, but 131, 126, 123, something around there. Zillow seems to be trailing off in the recent last year or so, and actually dragging down the average. If we go over to Realtor.com, there's that beautiful picture of that home in Gatesville. $157,900 is their number, and that number is coming from CoreLogic. We go to Redfin, look at their number, $123,436. And I don't know where that came from, but what I do like about Redfin is they have this little presentation of market trends in the zip code. 95% of homes are selling for their list price. That is dropping 120 days on market, up 38 days in the last month. Now, their sale price, average median sale price, has actually gone up. So that's encouraging, but bro, 120 days on market, you're living in that house while you're waiting for that thing to sell. That one's going to sit there for a while. All right, so that's it. I went to Property Radar. I put all those numbers into my calculator, the Zillow, Redfin, Realtor, Property Radar. I got a 139 average. Isn't that interesting, the distribution? Zillow and Redfin down in the 120s, Realtor and Property Radar up in the 150s. Remember, Realtor, that number is coming from CoreLogic, and my two most trusted sources for value are CoreLogic and Property Radar. So I think the house is worth more like 150, in the 150s, but it's been dragged down. Oh, I didn't finish my thing here. I was setting this up and I forgot. I got my square footage. We put it into there. I paste values only so I don't mess up my model. I need to be at about 139. Man, that would be $85. What, are you kidding me? You can buy a house for $75 a square foot? Guys, that's kind of crazy. This is a very cheap house. If you don't live out in the middle of nowhere in Gatesville, Texas, which is not horrible, it has a Walmart Supercenter and a Sonic. Okay, it's not middle of nowhere when you can just drive down the street to a Sonic and get a double cheeseburger. So I think I'm going to go with this 76, which puts me at 140. If you look at that 139,892, that's basically 140. So 140 is our number. Let's get into this bad boy. I think this house could be crazy because it's being offered at a crazy discount. Like if this house was in excellent condition, we could pay almost $100,000 for it, right? They're not asking $100,000. They're asking $37,000, and they're saying do your due diligence on everything that matters. This could be a wacky ride, my friends. Let's jump into it. We're going into the pictures. See what we got here. We got a pretty good. Well, we got a few. Yeah, we got a few. That's all right. Let's see where they start. Front of the house is nice. Well, it's nice to start there. And we see a chain link fence around it, and they got a satellite dish and needs some exterior paint. And but I don't know what horrors await us inside this house, but God, it doesn't look horrible. You need to get the speakers out from in front of the place here. I also think that used to be a garage and was converted because the driveway goes up to nowhere. But so you have a driveway, you don't have a carport or a garage, but you got this thing which was converted, and you could be jamming out here with your tunes playing on those speakers from the 70s, at least. Look at that, just the quality of brick, and the siding is definitely needs to be scraped and painted and worked on. The windows are old. These windows don't look like that window. So basically that looks probably, what was the year on this house? 1960. Older than me, actually. Older than me. That's pretty freaking old. All right, and that house right there, that window is like the 1960s windows. That one was taken out, or these were taken out. They left that one. That makes no sense. So it needs some windows. I think at least we need to make the windows match. I think we looking up there. I think that roof is in horrible condition and needs to be replaced. Eaves and soffits look like standard paint work. There's a front window, and they have done much to try to keep that thing at the party, but I think it has checked out, that window right there. And again, we look up here. We're looking for structural things as real estate investors. We're looking at the brick, the roof, the windows, things like that. We don't care too much about colors or other things like, because we'll replace all that. It doesn't, we're not trying to evaluate these houses as if we were doing like a house show. We're really looking at them as investments. What I see there, you guys see that gap up there with those bricks? That's some pretty significant separation. We're going to want to keep an eye on that as we get farther into the house. The siding is horrible. This doesn't look like 1960s. I'm telling you guys, this looks like 1940s or 1920s. This is very, very old. I cannot believe this is a 1960 house. Yeah. Hard to believe that. Hard to believe that. Did they have, built in 1960. I guess I'm just so old, I didn't realize that windows my age could look like that, but it looks horrible. That needs a ton of work on that side. There we got our electrical coming in. That might be a start of a condenser unit. This is a breaker panel. That's one way you could do it. Not how it's usually done. Usually there's a flat face here and you don't see the wiring that's going to each of the circuit breakers. That's kind of nuts. But, look at that. That is scary. That is scary. Maybe it's just that we don't usually see a lot of these connections, but in this unkept situation and just seeing wires like that, that freaks me out. That is crazy. That is crazy. I put a little attention on that. All right, we're in this house, and it's starting to live up to expectations. Horrible popcorn on the ceiling. Paint just slathered everywhere. Sometimes they painted the trim, sometimes they didn't. It doesn't matter. There's no rules. We can do whatever we want when we're when we're painting our houses. All right, floor, horrible. Everything's got to go. Everything's got to go. I'm gonna assume I can paint those doors and replace those floors, and that horrible, horrible ceiling. It's got stress cracks throughout. and many years of bad paint choices are being, whoa, I got lost. Man, every now and then I just click a little bit off, and they put me out into the penalty zone. I get put in the penalty box at Google Drive. All right. Oh boy, again, that ceiling is gross. That is, there's stuff could grow on that ceiling. That's absolutely amazingly gross. Yeah, faith and hope. I got it, but not. I do have faith. We could go in and redo this house. I have faith that we could do that. I'm just looking at a piece of furniture. So as an investor, tune out anything that's not structural. That's not the house, right? We don't give two hoots about this hideous black piece of furniture, or the hideous paint choices. We're just thinking, I need trim, I need doors, I need walls, I need floors, I need ceiling. I need all of it here. This bathroom is horrific. And I'm going to go ahead and say, look, I'm not even looking all the way down in there, but just based upon everything I'm seeing holistically, no freaking way I'm taking a shower there right now. I mean, after we get done, we bought this house. Heck yeah, I'd take a shower in there. But not right now. That's horrible. Horrible. Paint choices just from absolute hell over the years. Good gosh. All right, so we're in this room. Here again, I'm seeing lots of separation lines, stress cracks, things that are going on because the house has moved over the years. Man, it could have moved. These cracks could have happened 30 years ago. And it's just because I don't think this house has been well maintained or kept up. Those floors look like they need some TLC. If those are real, and I think they might be, because it does look like individual pieces of wood. If they're real, it might be able to refinish those bad boys. Otherwise, we're just going to cover them with an LVP. And, wow. I don't think anybody's lived here for a while just because they've just thrown a bunch of crap in here. Yeah, there we go. I think this might be the kitchen. That looks like a kitchen sink. Excuse me. Think that might be the kitchen. Man, I got choked up over this house. And just lots of paint, years of paint, kind of gross. This house looks way older than 1960. Excuse me. Yeah, this house really looks old. Like it looks like 40s or 50s with some of this trim work and just the lack of detail in any of the cabinetry, and it's bad. All right, we're in a room, might be a living room. Don't know based upon what I'm seeing there. Could be a bedroom. Yeah, look at that back there. The paneling just coming apart. Probably water leakage around that window that's coming into that wall and just kind of eroded that over time. We got paneled walls. We got a gross ceiling. This is like those, I've dealt with this before. They're almost like styrofoam ceiling tiles, but these turn brown. And I don't think they were that color at the beginning. I think somebody sat here and smoked for 40 years or something, because that's not a color that I had seen those in. I had seen those in white, and here they are brown, and I don't think that's the color that you want. Again, paneled walls, you can panel them or replace them. I think you definitely want to, you basically just scrape these styrofoam panels off the ceiling just like you would if it was popcorn. They use their adhesive, and they just went and stuck these styrofoam panels. It's just crazy what they did like back in the 60s and such. Yep. And very old windows. I think these windows are in horrific shape, and popcorn and everything. The house needs everything. This one lived up to its promise, did it not? I mean, we thought we were going to go see a crazy, dirty, old house, and absolutely that's what the wholesaler gave us. Look at that popcorn. Look at that edge. I was watching a video the other day with a guy that just, it was like a YouTube reel, and this guy was just painting, and he was painting edges, and his brushwork was so perfect. Like he didn't have to, mask it off or, put a metal trim sheet there. Whatever. He was just painting edges perfectly. And I don't do that. I think I don't trust myself like that. Of course, I'm not a painter. Come on. That's not my job. This house looks horrendous. And the popcorn, they brought it all the way down on these edges. It's just disgusting. And the doors and trim, they look way older than 1960 to me. I mean, look, guys, this house may have built in 1960. It appears to be what they're telling me. But they built this with methods from, like, other than the popcorn, which is kind of a 60s thing. This house is built with old school methods, old ideas, weirdness. That door, the top of that door, everything about that is just weird. Why did you do this? Why would you do this? Why would you have this separation? It makes absolutely no sense. And it just, sometimes we look at houses that were built by people that didn't really build houses, didn't really know how to build a house. And, this is what you get sometimes. And sometimes it ain't worth messing with. I mean, you go in there and look at it and just go, oh my gosh, these guys didn't know what they were doing. And now 40 years later, I'm looking at it thinking, do I want to deal with this? Do I want to have 40 years? God, it's like 60 years later. This is 1960 house, 65 years later. This house is old, but it looks older than its age, if that makes sense. The grotesque popcorn with the glossy paint. Deep window frames. House door that doesn't fit anymore. Look at the gap right there. That is a problem. That is a serious problem. There's a big piece of wood in there. I don't know why that's there. The popcorn is so gross. The floors need to be redone. We're in a room here, just kind of trying to see. We've got some stress cracks, separation amongst the drywall sheets, and then just probably one of the grossest popcorn ceiling roofs I've seen, or ceilings I've seen in a long time. It's just disgusting. They used purple in here. Guys, if you're thinking about purple, I just say go for it. Do the whole house in purple. I think it would be a great idea to do your house in purple. Purple. Oh, and by the way, when you're doing it, don't worry about the doors. They don't need to have different color, your door frames. Just do it all in purple. Just do it all in purple. Oh my gosh. I'm kidding, right? Purple's not a choice in a house. Do not use purple. If you do find yourself looking at purple at the Lowe's, just realize you don't know anything about paint. You should be prevented from painting because purple's not a choice. It's just gross. Everything looks so old, 40s or 50s old. It's just so gross. Well, there was one vanity sink. It didn't survive, so they came in with this one. But why move the old one out? Let's just leave it right there in 2021. Maybe the last time somebody was in this house. Wow, everything's just so old and gross. So old and gross. I mean, that's a shower. There's your shower. Would you guys get in there right now and take a shower? Would you? No, of course you wouldn't. Of course you wouldn't. This is disgusting, man. Yeah, everything in this house. This is a top to bottom rehab. There's something going on, I think, either with the photo or with the roof. I'm going to say, oh, maybe the roof is going up and down there. There's something going on there. That's weird. House needs to be painted inside and out. Stuff needs to be carted off. I don't even know what we're looking at here. That looks disgusting. I'll tell you that. I think we're in a bedroom. Maybe this is the master. It's glamorous. Look at that. En suite. I think. Whatever. Okay, we've got some built-on parts that look very sketchy. Look at that roof. That part over there looks pretty good. I'm not sure what we're looking at, but that whole back part, that whole manufactured tin building, that's crap. Needs to be torn out. Needs to go. It's junk. This is junk. This is all junk. Nobody wants it. Okay, hey, what are we going to do with this house? We're going to go like 1.5 on cosmetic. This house was in horrible condition. We're going to go 1 for general repairs. They told us, do your due diligence on the roof, the HVAC, the plumbing, the electrical, and the foundation. So I'm going to do it. I'm going to go 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. And there we are. And now they owe me $2,000 to take that house. Okay. Now this is probably an exaggeration at this point. But in fact, let's just go to 1 on cosmetic. We're just going to go to 1 on everything. We'll give them $6,000 for the house. This house was in horrible condition. And on the Big 5, there are many horrors there waiting to be discovered. Whenever this wholesaler, which is, these guys are good. They know their stuff. They know their business. They know what this is. And they're offering it for pennies on the dollar. What did we say? 140 was our ARV. They're offering it for 100,000 below what we think the ARV is. But they're saying you got to do all these things to this house. Well, for right now, I got to just stack it in there. Now, the real answer may be it's 0.5 and 50% on the plumbing and 50% on that, and maybe it's 50% on the foundation, and that kind of thing. Maybe there's a point at which this gets up to like a $25,000 offer, but man, they did. When they come at you with 37.5 and everything needs your due diligence, you got something that it's going to look like this. That 1,800 square foot house will need about $70,000 to bring it back to a condition where it could be offered for an ARV of 140. Think about that. That's 50% of the ARV and repairs. Okay, we don't see this very often. This is a horror house. And I don't even know if I'd pay $25 for this. Man, it's a pile. This house is a pile. But I don't know. Maybe $25 is a good deal. You own a house out in Gatesville, Texas, out in the middle of the nowheres. Literally, like you zoom in, it doesn't even say Gatesville, like until you get to here. That's a small town. Okay, like the bigger towns, you'll see them. Hewitt, big town. Lacey Lakeview, great town. China Spring, yeah. This Waco area is a great area. I love it. I love Waco and Temple and Killeen. Where's Killeen? I lost it. Anyway, it doesn't matter. The point is, this area down here is really nice. There's nothing wrong with Gatesville. It's an easy ride. Well, as we saw, it has a Walmart, so you don't need anything else. But it's an easy ride into Waco where you got all kinds of stuff going on. So there's nothing hugely wrong with the location, except it's just not that desirable right now. I think today most people want to live in the suburbs or around the suburbs and easy access into the city and all that it has to offer. And so it's a little hard to pitch a place down in Gatesville, especially if it's worth what we think is about $25,000 in its current condition, and it could only be worth $140,000 as its ARV. I think that's where we are on this one. Hey guys, thank you for joining me today on episode 51. I almost didn't make an episode today because I really wanted people to watch episode 50, which we did yesterday. Probably one of the most important episodes that we've ever done. I did it with my friend Joel Beal, and Joel is a freaking genius about this whole real estate investing, way smarter than me. I think I'll have him on more because he adds so much to the conversation. But check that out. If you haven't seen episode 50, I'll have a link to it at the end of this video. Go back there and check it. Also, go to cashoffermasterclass.com, click Get the Calculator, and I'll send you this calculator. You can use it on your own deals. And of course, you can always search Cash Offer Masterclass on YouTube or even Google and go right to the content. Hey guys, thanks for joining me today. And again, episode 50, go back. Stop what you're doing right now. Go back, watch episode 50. I appreciate it. Thank you. Talk to you soon.